20 common multiple choice questions about past simple and past continuous. Question 1. This morning when the alarm clock blank off, I blank a sweet dream. A. Went, had. B. Went, am having. C. Went, was having. D. Was going, went. Answer. C. Went, was having. Full the sentence. This morning when the alarm clock went off, I was having a sweet dream. Question 2. Carol, blank. Her husband while she, blank. In Europe. A. Met, traveled. B. Was meeting, was traveling. C. Met, was traveling. D. Was meeting, traveled. Answer. C. Met, was traveling. Full the sentence. Carol met her husband while she was traveling in Europe. Question 3. I, blank. On my computer when there, blank. A sudden power cut and all my data, blank. Lost. A. Was working, was, were. B. Worked, was. C. Was working, were. D. Was working, was. Answer. A. Was working, was, were. Full the sentence. I was working on my computer when there was a sudden power cut and all my data were lost. Question 4. When we, blank. A room 2 years ago, Lynn, blank. My things without asking. A. Was sharing, was always taking. B. Shared, always was taking. C. Shared, was always taking. D. Was sharing, always took. Answer. C. Shared, was always taking. Full the sentence. When we shared a room 2 years ago, Lynn was always taking my things without asking. Question 5. When Tom, blank. Yesterday, I, blank. The washing up in the kitchen, so I, blank. The phone. A. Was calling, did, wasn't hearing. B. Called, did, didn't hear. C. Was calling, did, didn't hear. D. Called, was doing, didn't hear. Answer. D. Called, was doing, didn't hear. Full the sentence. When Tom called yesterday, I was doing the washing up in the kitchen, so I didn't hear the phone. Question 6. Frank, blank. For money last year when he, blank. Still out of work. A. Constantly was asking, was. B. Was constantly asking, was. C. Constantly was asking, was being. D. Constantly asked, was being. Answer. B. Was constantly asking, was. Full the sentence. Frank was constantly asking for money last year, when he was still out of work. Question 7. Mark, blank. Complete silence when he, blank. Music. A. Requested, was composing. B. Requested, composed. C. Was requesting, was composing. D. Was requesting, composed. Answer. A. Requested. Was composing. Full the sentence. Mark requested complete silence when he was composing music. Question 8. In 1417, Nguyen Tri. Blank. The army of Leloy, who. Blank. The resistance movement in the mountainous regions. A. Joined, then led. B. Joined, was then leading. C. Was joining, was then leading. D. Was joining, then led. Answer. B. Joined, was then leading. Full the sentence. In 1417, Nguyen Tri joined the army of Leloy, who was then leading the resistance movement in the mountainous regions. Question 9. While the emperor and the officials, blank. The war strategies, Tran Quoc Tone, blank. Outside the hall. A. Discussed, still waited. B. Were discussing, still waited. C. Were discussing, was still waiting. D. Discussed, still was waiting. Answer. C. Were discussing, was still waiting. Full the sentence. While the emperor and the officials were discussing the war strategies, Tran Quoc Tone was still waiting outside the hall. Question 10. While his troops, blank. Against the Mongol army, he, blank. To the front to drive the enemies back. A. Were fighting, was always dashing. B. Were fighting, always was dashing. C. Fought, always dashed. D. Fought, was always dashing. Answer. A. Were fighting, was always dashing. Full the sentence. While his troops were fighting against the Mongol army, he was always dashing to the front to drive the enemies back. Always dashing to the front. Question 11. I, blank. Because last week I had a quarrel with my employer. A. Dismissed. B. Was dismissed. C. Had dismissed. D. Was dismissing. Answer. B. Was dismissed. Full the sentence. I was dismissed because last week I had a quarrel with my employer. Question 12. When I, blank, into the busy office, the secretary was talking on the phone with a customer. A. Walked. B. Was walking. C. Had walked. D. Had been walking. Answer. A. Walked. Full the sentence. When I walked into the busy office, the secretary was talking on the phone with a customer. Question 13. When the first guests came, the bride and groom, blank, outside the church. A. Waited. B. Were waiting. C. Had waited. D. Is waiting. Answer. B. Were waiting. Full the sentence. When the first guests came, the bride and groom were waiting outside the church. Question 14. The thief, blank, into the house, stole the jewels, and left without a trace. A. Sneak. B. Was sneaking. C. Had sneaked. D. Sneaked. Answer. D. Sneaked. Full the sentence. The thief sneaked into the house, stole the jewels, and left without a trace. Question 15. This morning, I, blank, to the kitchen and looked in the cupboard. for some food for my dog, but the cupboard was empty. A. Had gone. B. Was going. C. Went. D. Had been going. Answer. C. Went. Full the sentence. This morning, I went to the kitchen and looked in the cupboard for some food for my dog, but the cupboard was empty. Question 16. The kitchen was full of steam when we arrived, Samantha. Blank. A huge meal for everyone at the party. A. Prepared. B. Was preparing. C. Had prepared. D. Had been prepared. Answer. B. Was preparing. Full the sentence. The kitchen was full of steam when we arrived. Samantha was preparing a huge meal for everyone at the party. Question 17. What blank you do when I phoned? A. Did. B. Are you doing? C. Were you doing? D. Will. Answer. C. Were you doing? Full the sentence. What were you doing you do when I phoned? Question 18. While people were talking to each other, he blank his book. A. Read. B. Was reading. C. Were reading. D. Reads. Answer. B. Will have mastered. Full the sentence. While people were talking to each other, he will have mastered his book. Question 19. Chris used to blank pizza every weekend last month. A. Eat. B. Was eating. C. Has been reading. D. Ate. Answer. A. Eat. Full the sentence. Chris used to eat pizza every weekend last month. Question 20. Blank your keys yesterday? A. Do you find? B. Have you found? C. Were you finding? D. Did you find? Answer. D. Did you find? Full the sentence. Did you find your keys yesterday?